This is the Mosen Mortgage Program with Sarah Mosen. Mosen Mortgage is licensed in several states for residential and commercial purchases and refinancing. Call 800-662-9550. And now, here's your host, Sarah Mosen.
Happy Tuesday, folks. It's great to be back here again, and as always, wonderful to have you here with me, Pat. All smiles. It's Tuesday.
Yes, happy Tuesday, and we're coming up on Holy Easter week.
Yes.
Because Easter is just on Sunday, and Tuesday is my favorite day of the week. And Sarah, the poem that you shared by this gal Ada Grist is just a most beautiful poem. And would this be an Easter week and all? I would love it if you would allow me to read it on the air.
Please do. She's incredible. She's so gifted and talented. I just had to share it with you this morning. I know we're up early, so we communicated by email.
Yes, yeah, and I saw it and I thought, oh my gosh, because I always start my day, with devotions. I'm on my knees and then I read. Lately I've been reading in Ecclesiastics, and, I can't even begin my day unless I do that. And so when I saw this very early, I saw this even earlier before I started my devotion, Sarah, and I just thought it was wonderful.
Perfect, yeah.
So let me just read it because I know our family of listeners will love it. And again, this is a poem written by a good friend of yours, Sarah, and her name is Ada Grist, right?
Yes.
Okay. So dusty from lack of use, it sits on the shelf, because I have been far too busy, wrapped up in myself. The world caught my eye, and I wanted to blend in, not stopping to read the word or repent of my sin. Suddenly the world left me empty. My will wanted to hold on. Fear settled in, 'cause all hope and peace was gone. My heart called out to Jesus, down on my knees in despair. Deep within I heard, reach up, your answer is there. Blowing off the dust, opening up to read, realizing that God, His people, and His Word is all I really need.
I love it.
Me too. I think it's just wonderful. And don't we all? My golly, if our family of listeners could see me, I'm raising my hand right now. Because don't we all get caught in whirlwinds from time to time and minimize the time we have with our dear Lord, and we're just caught up in the world, and it can even be good ministerial churchy things we're doing. But if we are not spending time in our relationship with Jesus, we start to feel exactly as she wrote in that poem. Because, I'm reading Ecclesiastics lately, and that was written by King Solomon, and most of it talks about how he feels. King Solomon, who had everything, the wisest person in the world, had all the riches, all the beautiful wives, all the gold, built the palaces, did gardens, every fancy musician, you name it, he had it, but yet he felt despondent, and he felt full of despair and sad. And so the first several passages and pages of Ecclesiastics are all about his sadness. And in the end, and fortunately I know the end, thank goodness, because if I had to stay with this despondent, despairing Solomon all the way through and think he never came out of it, it really, really would be difficult. But in the end, he comes back to what, God has told all of us right from the beginning. There is no fulfillment, no peace, no fullness of life without Jesus. And if you're out there in the world trying to find it in all the other places, it's just, you'll have happiness for short spans of time, but no lasting joy, no lasting peace, no lasting fulfillment. And my golly, it's just interesting how this poem, you shared it with me this morning, Sarah, and I've been reading in Ecclesiastics, which, is kind of along those same lines. I mean, God is so good. He's meaning for some folks out there in our listening world, and me and all of us here, to stop and pause and realize, there's a whole lot of things that we run the race for every day that are really meaningless, as King Solomon said. The only meaningful stuff is having that relationship with God. And when we have that, everything else just falls into the right order.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think, Ada Grist, she's personal friend. I just so admire her abilities. And the poem is The Shelf. We're going to put it on the website, on the
Yes.
WEZ website, to share it with
Yes.
our listeners. So she's a wonderful writer, and I know she's working towards getting published. So folks, feel free to call us here at 1-800-662-9550. She has a lot more of her writings that I'm sure that the world would enjoy hearing, if we can just share it with the rest of the world. So it was an interesting morning, and it's always exciting for me when I start my day, because it is about faith and finance and fitness. That's how it works. And family. So we have all
Yes.
And so I do say to folks always that to remember and to be patient with yourself, and not to be in a state of panic if you are dealing with a financial issue, or if that issue has now kind of blended into your family life, because we can repair and rebuild and make sure that we can get you back on track. And money makeovers, I mean, there are things that we see often where you are having 2, 3, 4 jobs in order to just balance and make ends meet, and that's taking time away from your family. And so if we really look at the numbers, because numbers don't lie, and that's what I love about what we do, this is all facts. And if you're simply running around trying to pay the bills, or adding a $400 income by taking on a second or a third job, just look at where your household income is and what you're paying out. And if you're not sure, just chat with me. I will go through the numbers with you very easily, and I can easily tell you that a lot of folks don't need to be adding that second or third job, or be in a place where they're living paycheck to paycheck. The biggest thing that I see always, Pat, is the credit cards. I mean, $15,000, $16,000 that average American has in credit card debt. So that's $400 out of your household income that you're just simply paying towards minimum payments. That's creating havoc in your home life. And then obviously the mortgage in itself, people rarely look at their mortgage statement because they're so busy, and they're doing things that are far more important. They have work, they have family time. And so at the end of the day, you may have done a purchase of a home 5 or 10 years ago, or you may have actually refinanced 7 years ago, or 5 years ago, or even 3 years ago. But rates are still at an all-time low, and we could dramatically lower that payment and reduce the interest rate, whether the rate's in 3% or 4%. And the market changes daily, minute by minute. So it's not as if the rates stay in one place for 30 days. And that's the hidden advantage with what we do. And then co-signing. I've always said, be very, very careful about who you're co-signing with. It's not because you don't love them. It's just the fact that it ties you into a relationship where if one is unable to pay, the other person is held accountable. And so both scores will get affected. And a lot of folks don't realize that. And if you're in that situation, chat with me, whether it's a car loan, whether it's a student loan, and you have a mortgage, because if someone's missing that payment, your score's going down as well. We can correct that situation.
And you can do it using the KISS method, can't you, Sarah?
The keeping it simple savings method, yes.
Correct. I love that. And you do keep it simple. I mean, I know firsthand. I know you helped my daughter. She and her husband now, they have just delighted. They've been in their first home since September, and they just love being homeowners. And when they originally started looking to buy a home, they did not think it was possible. They had made a few, errors along the way back in their college days, and they did not think it was possible. And I'm not telling tales out of school here. My daughter has said it's okay, and they came to you, Sarah, and you said, okay, yep, here's what we need to do. And of course, there was no judgment. There was no questions asked. There was just like, you've seen it all before, Sarah, and you said, here's what you need to do, and they did it, and you qualified them, and as a result of that, they are now in their first home, which is and they're just delighted. So I want to always repeat that, because there's a lot of folks within the sound of our voices that are saying, even right now, oh, yeah, but that's not me. Oh, yeah, but nobody's looked at my situation. And Sarah, they just need to call you, and you can really turn their world around. And Jerry's already saying it's time for us to wind down, believe it or not, Sarah. So I want to make sure our listeners understand that, there's a brand new beginning right there at just this free phone call that they can make to you, Sarah, 24/7. This line is answered live by the fine folks at Mosen Mortgage. Call at 2 in the morning and say what time you want to talk with Sarah, and she will call you back. 1-800-662-9550.
Stay well, folks.
This has been the Mosen Mortgage Program with Sarah Mosen. Mosen Mortgage is licensed in several states for residential and commercial purchases and refinancing. Call 800-662-9550.